I want you all to know that I am purely doing this episode to rub it into everyone's face that I was right. Well, welcome to my dojo. This is KungFuPizzaPrty, and I'm your host, Brandon Knight, and I am dropping in today for another coming soon edition of the show, this time to focus on Mortal Kombat 2 and how I called it. I am a prophet. You may now all refer to me as Prophet Brandon. Actually, if you wanted to refer to me by a religious title, not that that's like, why people show up for this show, but I did preach at a church recently, and one of the people there referred to me as man of God. Not pastor, not any of the other polite terms I've gotten over the years, but man of God. And I got to tell you, that's the one I need to put on business cards. I do like that more than pastor. Pastor is it's just so basic. It's just so bland and predictable. But man of God, that sounds like I'm about ready to lead an army or something. Of course, if you've listened to this show long enough, you know that that's not really part of who I am. Anyway, way off topic here. Here on KungFuPizzaPrty, for those of you dropping in for the very first time, here on KungFuPizzaPrty, I seek to deliver high-flying action in 30 minutes or less and serve up some wisdom one slice at a time. And occasionally, like in today's episode, a little bit of just rubbing it in everyone's face that I was right. I'm not necessarily proud or happy that I was right about the thing that I am right about. But at the same time, it's like I might as well take the wins where I can get them. So, way back in January, very first episode of this year, I sat down for a coming soon edition of the show talking about Love Hurts, Karate Kid Legends, and Mortal Kombat 2. And the thing that I said in that episode about MK2 that I have said repeatedly throughout this year is the fact that they're really gonna have to win me over with this whole Karl Urban as Johnny Cage thing. Not really a Karl Urban guy, and obviously the correct answer is JCVD should be playing Johnny Cage. However, then in, I believe it was July, I did another coming soon edition of the show because not only was the cast announced for Street Fighter that subsequently broke the internet for an entire weekend, the trailer or trailers and posters for MK2 came out. And you know what? They were already starting to move me in the right direction towards accepting Karl Urban as Johnny Cage. It was humorous. It was lighthearted. It definitely feels like they're going a different tone with this installment of Mortal Kombat. But that part, whether or not this is a good casting decision, is still remains to be seen, because it is September as I'm recording this, and hopefully as you are listening to this. I was sitting down to plan out, I was in October, I was going to do this, a bunch of spooky related content and a bunch of Mortal Kombat content. So I picked out all my spooky kung fu martial art media films. I went to sit down and start planning the Mortal Kombat side of things, reach out to a few people to do guest spots, and that's when I found out that the other thing I said in the January coming soon, the thing that I actually predicted would happen, did indeed happen, because in that episode, I said, okay, well, Love Hurts is coming out in February, and it definitely is. Like, I've seen a lot of trailers for this. We're a month out. It's coming out. And then for Karate Kid Legends, I said, I guess there is, an outside chance that maybe this won't come out because it was going to be May. Sorry. It's gonna be May. But you know what? More than likely, it will. There's an outside chance. But when it came to Mortal Kombat 2, I said, it's January. This movie's going to come out in October. I'm not putting a lot of weight on that. And sure enough, the movie has been postponed to May 2026. That's right. It's been pushed forward a little bit, actually several months. A pretty interesting placement given some other surrounding context with Warner Brothers Discovery. I'll talk about that if I've got time. It looks like I should, though, in this episode as well. But I called it that Mortal Kombat 2 would not come out this year, and sure enough, a month out, they have postponed the film till May of next year. And so I'm sorry to all of you out there who was looking forward to a big push of Mortal Kombat content in October. We're going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to put that off as well now until we get closer to May, apparently. The good news is if you're looking for spooky content to go with your streaming in October, I will be delivering plenty of that, hopefully still in 30 minutes or less, because oh boy. I'm actually really excited for this lineup. There's movies that I love, movies I've never seen. I think it's going to be a lot of fun on the spooky side of things. But yes, if you're one of those people who was looking forward to some Mortal Kombat content next month, you're going to have to wait a bit now. Oddly enough, even though Mortal Kombat is not horror, doesn't it fit the October vibe for sure? You know, like I think it makes sense to do like Mortal Kombat alongside horror. But no, we're going to have to wait a bit. Why, though, did Warner Brothers Discovery postpone Mortal Kombat 2 till May? Well, initially, it didn't really look like there was much of a reason at first. Because competition-wise, there wasn't really much that they were going to be going up against, at least not that I think. The Smashing Machine and Tron Ares, which are the other two, in my book, the other two big movies coming out in October. October was very stacked they would have kept Mortal Kombat 2 in there. But they were going to be coming out earlier in the month, and MK2 was so late in the month, it was going to be November anyway. So it was like the weekend. It would have been it was the last box office weekend of October. So it wasn't stiff competition. This doesn't really make a difference with competing with Street Fighter or trying not to compete with I guess it just continues to help them not compete with Street Fighter, because as of right now, Street Fighter is set to come out in October of next year. So moving it to May doesn't really do much positive or negative towards that. So at first, it truly looked like what I said it was going to be in January of it's Warner Brothers. What else can you expect? Warner Brothers is just going to do something that doesn't make sense, especially if it involves geeks. They just love screwing over geeks, it seems like. They aren't fans. They are not fans of their own licensed properties, it seems like sometimes. And that's what it really felt like. The big brain business geeks online are speculating, though, that the reason why Mortal Kombat 2 has been postponed until May of next year is because of how well Superman did this summer. Superman killed it at the box office and is really helping Warner Brothers Discovery. I feel like there should be 7 other names attached to that title. Warner Brothers Discovery, it really helped them out financially. And so the speculation is that Warner Brothers Discovery actually has a lot of weight put on Mortal Kombat 2 to be another successful film. And so rather than to stockpile on top of this financial year, they pushed it forward to May to try and really capitalize. It's like mid-May, so it's like the very earliest of the summer blockbuster season. Basically what they are saying is that Warner Brothers has so much faith in this movie that they have pushed it forward so that way they can try and repeat another financial success like Superman and really ride the wave of the summer blockbuster. Which is good for them. And I guess one of the bright sides for us then is that I guess we can maybe put a little bit more stock in the film, that it's actually, if they think it's going to be as successful as Superman, then this is going to be a very good movie, apparently. I mean, there's not really much else I don't know if there's really much else to say other than it could be that the film is going to be really good. Warner Brothers has a lot of investment into it, and so they just want to do that. Or it's just, again, Warner Brothers Discovery just making decisions that don't make sense, which takes me to what I told my wife the other day, just like yesterday, actually. The one thing in the business world that really captures my attention, and that is the streaming wars. I'm not that stereotypical like millennial white dude who like has his favorite evil billionaire and watches the stock market and all those kinds of things and is like business mindset, productivity, entrepreneurship. That's like not me at all. I hate all of it. But the one exception is, for some reason, the streaming wars, I guess because I watch TV and I like superhero movies and martial art movies, obviously. So I think that's why I'm invested in all of this. But there is an interesting potential twist that could still come from this. So maybe this is going to be prediction 2.0 when it comes to MK2. Because last month, in the midst of all of this, last month, Skydance Entertainment, or whatever their name is, bought out Paramount Global. And they're now Paramount, Skydance something. I forgot. It has both names in it. And now, Ellison, I think is his name. He, took over the company, laid off 2,000 people, fired Stephen Colbert, and now, yeah, we're getting political. Fired Stephen Colbert, and now has made a pitch to purchase Warner Brothers Discovery, because apparently earlier this year, Warner Brothers Discovery announced they're splitting. Yes, they're filing for divorce, not bankruptcy, divorce, because basically the split is going to be a streaming and movie focus and a television focus. And the streaming and movie side of things is basically all of the Warner Brothers related things, HBO Max, HBO, Cartoon Network, properties, DC, all of that. And the television side of thing is basically all of the Discovery stuff, Food Network, and not National Geographic. They have one of those. I can't remember which one it is. But they have True TV, and then they're going to take like CNN and TNT and sports and all of that. So they're going to split sides and basically focus on their own areas. That split is supposed to be taking place in April of 2026. So what's interesting, playing into all of this factoring of tying it back now to Mortal Kombat 2, they've pushed it to May. So that means the side of things that is going to be streaming and movies, what is going to be HBO Max or whatever it's called by the time you're listening to this episode, maybe they've gone, inclusive and it's been renamed to Maxine, #feminism, or God knows what that thing's going to be called come April of next year. But that means whoever, I forget what guy is taking over the streaming movie division part, the Warner Brothers side of things, that means they're banking on Mortal Kombat 2 being their first big film of this new era of Warner Brothers, which is a lot of pressure to put on Sub-Zero and Carl Urban. What's interesting, though, is that because Warner Brothers Discovery is kind of in a bit of a vulnerable state, the Paramount Skydance Corporation, I think that's what it's called, has made a bid to purchase the whole thing, meaning somewhere in the multiverse, this is happening, and Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon are now owned by the same people. Just think about that for a second. Danny Phantom and Ben 10 are hanging out together somewhere. Samurai Jack is slicing up SpongeBob's pineapple. Anyway, so I don't know what other crossovers we could get. Oh my gosh, what am I saying? Samurai Jack and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay, maybe this idea isn't as bad as I thought it was. Now I'm like really into this idea. So he's making it. They have put forward a bid to purchase Warner Brothers Discovery. In the meantime, now, actually, again, just like within the past couple days, as I'm recording this, Netflix has put a bid forward, not for the whole company, but specifically for the side that is streaming and movies. That's right, folks. Netflix wants HBO Max's head on a silver platter. Maxflex? Paramount HBO plus Max? I don't know. These names are getting ridiculous. We need more HBO Max names. Maxflix? Maybe Maxflix. NetBio? HBO Flix? I don't know. Anyway, Netflix has now made a bid for the streaming, the Warner Brothers side of things. That's going to be the streaming and the movies and the high quality television programs, which, again, I don't know what, I didn't spend any time trying to think of interesting crossovers for that, but that does mean, again, that Mortal Kombat, that would be interesting how that could affect the future of Mortal Kombat 2. Because if Paramount Skydance purchases all of Warner Brothers, I imagine they would still continue to let Mortal Kombat 2 come out in theaters. I don't know if Netflix purchases Warner Brothers, the Warner Brothers side of things, if they do, because Netflix keeps their theatrical releases few and far between. So that could be a very interesting change to the movie-going experience. Now I do sound pretentious. All of that is to say, again, yeah, if you were waiting for Mortal Kombat content next month, you're going to have to wait. And I guess we're all going to have to wait and see how this is all going to go down. If we're going to get the Warner Brothers Discovery split, if Paramount Skydance is going to become Warner Brothers Paramount Skydance Discovery, or if we're going to get Maxflix on the back end of this, or some other third thing. Surely to goodness, Disney cannot pick them up. Disney can't buy anything else. Surely to goodness. I mean, they can't, right? Like, they already own too much. To me, if any of the other deals go through, if Paramount Skydance or Netflix gets their hands on all or part of Warner Brothers Discovery, to me, that means Comcast Universal, you guys got to make a move. Like, they're going to very quickly fall behind and need to do something. And you know what? Comcast Universal, Apple TV's right there. Sell yourselves. Not try to buy Apple. You can't buy Apple. Sell yourselves to Apple TV Plus. Anyway, so on the bright side of things for all of you listening to this long ramble about the streaming wars, stay with me for another couple minutes. Our time is almost up here today, but stay with me for another couple minutes because I do want to paint a picture for next year. Let's say all of this is going to play out positively. That means that in May of next year, we're getting Mortal Kombat 2. And again, in October of next year, we're supposed to get Street Fighter. And I have read rumors that Universal is going to throw their hat in the arena because there is talks of another video game franchise coming to theaters near you. Shinobi is supposed to be getting a film in the near future, potentially next year. So if all of that does happen and then suddenly Disney gets jealous and makes Double Dragon, because let's face it, they would do Double Dragon, not Tekken. I don't know who would do Tekken. I don't know if we want another Tekken attempt. But assuming that at least the two, Mortal Kombat 2 and Street Fighter, actually do show up next year, and maybe we also get Shinobi at some point, to me, that means that next year, 2026, should be the year that Kung Fu Pizza Party goes to the arcade. Because let's be honest, that makes sense, right? Like, it would make sense for me to just go ahead and pump out as much Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter related properties that I could do, films, television series, maybe connect with some gamers and have them on to talk about beat 'em ups and their favorite installments in both franchises. If Shinobi shows up, I could throw them in the mix. Maybe do some throwbacks. Maybe I'll go ahead and do Double Dragon or that awful Tekken movie or whatever. Like, I think there's a lot of possibilities for next year now, and maybe it just will be the year that Kung Fu Pizza Party goes to the arcade. Because let's be honest, where do you want to have a pizza party at? You want to have a pizza party at an arcade. Maybe I'll go to arcades. Look, if this show gets big enough, I will do a live episode at an arcade somewhere. But the show has to grow, which is a great time for me to transition into, if you want Kung Fu Pizza Party live at some arcade somewhere in the United States next year, then you gotta share the episodes with your buddies, y'all. Like, share this episode with a friend. They need to know that I was right. Mortal Kombat 2 got moved. I'm not proud of myself for calling that. I'm not happy about it, but I am still like, oh, well, yeah. Maybe I do know what I'm talking about in all of this. Share this episode with a friend. If you haven't yet already, please rate and review the show wherever you do get your podcasts. Follow the show on Instagram at KungFuPizzaPrty and on Letterboxd, KungFuPizzaPrty. Kung Fu Pizza Party. You can also check out my YouTube channel, Studio 219, a place for faith and pop culture, and check out the other great shows here on the Anazao Ministries podcast network. We have my sister show, My Seminary Life, Systematic Geekology, Friday Night Frights. Again, we're heading into spooky season. Get some spooky content. Check out the other great shows, and make sure you check out the merch sale. September is almost over. Not only can you go wake up Billy Joe Armstrong, don't do that. He actually needs to rest. But the merch sale is going to end at the end of September. Bonfire.com/2025 Kung Fu, where you can purchase a limited edition Kung Fu Pizza Party t-shirt, crew neck, hoodie. Partial proceeds are going to go towards Martial Hearts, a nonprofit devoted to making martial art training more affordable for children, because it is stupid expensive and has been for a very long time, at least as long as I've done martial arts. It can get crazy expensive. I was just talking to a mom the other day at my job who found out I was a martial artist and was like, can you start teaching that here? Because I'm spending way too much money at the place where my kid is doing karate. And I was like, maybe someday I will. And then I can add master or sensei to my long list of ridiculous job titles. Anyway, thank you all for listening to today's episode. I'll be back here soon chatting with you all. But until next time, this has been Kung Fu Pizza Party, where I have indeed delivered high-flying action in 30 minutes or less and served up some wisdom and maybe a few more prophecies, you never know, but served up some wisdom one slice at a time.